Hi everyone, it's KIREI here for Hey Little Magpie, and I have a brand new process video for you using the Simple Stories Rustic Legend collection. I've pulled out a number of the pattern papers, and this particular one is called Journal Elements, and I just thought I'd cut all the cards, the pieces up because I've got 3 photos, small square ones, and I just thought I'd just layer all these elements up. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them up behind my photos in a sort of vertical design because there's lots of these pieces, and I thought there's lots of different patterns and colours, and I rather like the idea of doing that. So I thought, right, I'm going to give that a go. Now I've got this green grid background here that I thought I was going to use as a background. I decided to just mount my photos with it. One is called Carve Your Path. So I've got my 3 photos. I'm going to mount them individually, distress the edges, of course, as always. Just add that little bit of texture rather than a nice clean edge. I know it's not for everyone, but that's definitely something I do on all of my layouts. Now these photos I've had for a while. Actually, they've been sat there just waiting to be scrapped. And when I saw this Simple Stories collection, I thought, right, I know this is an opportunity to get some of my husband's photos scrapped. So yeah, these were from a trip, and it was last year, so March, where he goes to the Cheltenham Festival with some of his mates, and while he was there he caught up with a few more of his mates. So yeah, it's just a bit of an annual thing. They go all the time, they go every year, and yeah, they just have loads of fun and they just enjoy it, and it's a real boys get together. So yeah, so these photos, as I say, have been waiting for over a year to be scrapped. So yeah, finally getting them down onto a layout. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing here. I am just picking out some of these different cards and just playing around with where they're going to sit, what I'm thinking about. Um, and then I've used as the background now, this one, it's like an invoice background, and that one is called Low Key Awesome. And I just thought it was subtle enough to be used as a background, particularly because I was using lots of different sort of colours with the cards. Yeah, now I've just I think I'm sort of happy with it. I took a quick photo with my phone there so that I remember how everything sits. And then of course I'm distressing all the edges. So I have now got everything stuck down, so you can see that, and they're all stuck together, but I haven't completely stuck them down yet. Now I did have an idea here to add another pattern paper over on the left and then add a strip down the side. But that one there with all like the rulers on it is way too busy. And then the yellow, I wasn't sure. I think I try another one, and it didn't really work for me. So I sort of went back to using just the plain background, which I'm really happy with because I think I had enough like patterns in behind the photos already, so it just didn't need something else. So yeah, oh, here you go, you can see me bringing that green, and I'm sure I bring, yeah, there's a sort of a reddy orange. I sort of like the idea, but it was just all too, yeah, it was all too busy. um in fact, I might be still going here. I think I'm trying another one here. Which one? Oh no, yeah, the orange. I thought it might work because it was a one color background. I thought that might work, but and it could have been okay. But I just felt no, I was going to stick with just my cluster of journal cards behind the photos. So yeah. And then the idea is on the right there, I'd have a sort of a side cluster as well. So you can see where I'm going. So still playing around with bits and pieces. That's okay. It's part of the process. So then I'm bringing in the ephemera, and I've got 2 different ephemeras. I've got the bits and pieces, and then I've got the journal bits as well. So I'm just pulling out things that the elements I thought worked. There's different pieces there. I've got like car keys, there's a tickets, there's camera, there's stars. So yeah. Okay, so I was happy, I think, where I was going. So now getting that piece stuck down. And then I've decided I've got a different strip you'll see here. This is actually just one of the manufacturing strips. It's the with the stripes on it, and I've just cut that piece off and then just adding another element over it. It's one of the other papers. I'm sorry, I forgot what it's called. It's a yellowy orange mustard map paper. And I just cut a strip of that. And then I'm just going to add some of the ephemera pieces. So as I said, I've got some of the tickets here. You can see I'm curving the edges of the tickets just as I layer them. For some pieces, I've added some foam pads like here, just to the top edge, so I get that layer and that dimension rather than everything being completely flat. Definitely what I love, it is something I love to do, is get lots of sort of dimension and layers into my layouts. And that's, and I know it's not for everyone, because if you're with with a scrapbook album, you definitely can't get so many in when you have lots of layers and dimensions. So yeah, but I like it, and that's sort of okay with me. Okay, brought in the rub-ons. So these are the coordinating rub-ons for the Rustic Legend collection. And I've got these sort of faded stars here, and I thought I would add those into the corner just as another layer beneath the pieces that I've already got down. I trimmed off a little bit because it was going to be hidden, and I thought I might use it somewhere else, which I will do later on. So I'll just get those down. So I've got this, obviously stars, and then I've got some of the ephemera stars. So there's almost like that repeating shape that I am going to use across the layout. So I'll start to get this cluster down now. So you can see I've got the larger star there. I'm adding a foam pad behind it as well, mainly because it's sitting just over the photos. So that one I just needed to raise slightly. I'll get the camera tucked in behind it. I love this collection. I love the sort of the mix of colours. So you've got and then the sort of elements. Some of them are slightly vintagey looking, but you've got all the greens, the sort of mustards, the sort of orangey, rusty colours, the blues, and then some of the more neutral tones as well. So there's lots here, perfect for all the male boy layouts that you could possibly want. So yeah, it's such a great collection. It's not as bright and colourful as a lot of collections, and I know the bright and colourful collections often draws you're drawn to them a lot, but actually these sorts I really love the colors in this, and I think it's just nice to have a bit of a change from all the sort of prettiness and bright color. Okay, so I'm still going with the rub-ons here. That I'm just again, what you can see is I'm just sort of getting that repeated shape in across my layout, so around the clusters, and then up the top here as well. And that's again just from a design perspective, it brings the layout together, rather than having just a mishmash of all sorts of bits and pieces. Having those stars in the sort of clusters in those three areas, it just sort of pulls the layout together. I've got the foam stickers here, and I'm going to use Awesome as my title. I thought that worked well. And then I've just got, there's some tiny little stars in there that I'm just adding to my clusters. So again, just raising them up. I've got the arrow that I'm tucking in there. And what I do with this layout, I did go through it all, finished off the video, and then I'd completely forgotten I had some of my Hey Little Magpie embellishment kits, and they were hidden under something, and I'd totally forgotten about them. So I pulled those out, and you'll see in the final layout picture photo that I add some twine through that tag journal card at the top. And well, I should say twine, it's like waxed thread. And then I've got a couple of fabric stars in a deep green and a sort of creamy beige colour that I tuck in. That worked really well. Oh yeah, here you go. You'll be able to see them now. You'll see them in close-ups anyway. So yeah, I've used the embellishment kits, which are fabulous for adding just some of those little extra bits and pieces. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching the process video and you get some inspiration for using the Simple Stories Rustic Legend collection. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.